more interesting conversations that I have with clients is what sort of supplements can they take to enhance the overall well-being of their body. Now, I like to focus on supplements that not only have a good antioxidative protective factor, there's a good cellular integrity mechanism in place, and at the same time, it improves mitochondrial health. Now, omega-3s especially, they've been really well known, really widely studied, and if you look for more functional health practitioners, this is something that they're definitely going to focus on, the balance of omega-3s in the body. Unfortunately, even in nursing school, I wasn't taught a lot about this, and I know there are still a lot of doctors that don't believe diet has much of a role to play, but we know that's not true, and today I want to focus on omega-3s. Now, there are three major ones, DHA, EPA, and ALA. Now, ALA is found in plant food, which is also really important, but I want to focus on krill oil and the DHA and EPA that is contained within them. So what we know about omega-3s is that it's been studied, well known for its ability to enhance longevity, improve oxygen consumption, it has anti-inflammatory effect, and because of its structure and its availability, it can promote brain health from developmental to old age and warding off a lot of Parkinson's or degenerative sort of conditions. So now I really like krill oil to get my omega-3s because when you study the science, and it's now caught up, a lot of my favorite doctors have been promoting this for quite a long time, but what you see is that the potency and because of the structure and the way it's harvested, the omega-3s and krill oil are much more effective and bioavailable to the body. What we know about krill is that they are these little shrimp-like crustaceans found in the clear waters of Antarctica. They are eaten by some of the longest and largest living whales on the planet, and I think it's a good idea to take clues from nature, and if they're eating it, there's probably a good reason for it. So the good thing about krill is that they're found at the bottom of the food chain. Now, at the same time, because they're found in Antarctica, there's a lot less pollutants and contaminants. And when you start at the bottom of the food chain, there's a lot less accumulation of it as opposed to if we go into fish or more farmed waters closer to occupied areas. So the way krill oil is harvested, it maintains its phospholipid structure, meaning it doesn't have to be broken down. The body will actually absorb it, and it can cross through the blood-brain barrier quite readily. So we're not losing anything during the digestive process. Now, DHA, it makes up the majority of the fatty acids in the brain. So being able to have a DHA supplement that can cross through and go into our nervous system to protect our brain and maintain the integrity of it, that's obviously very beneficial as it'll improve neurological processes, and really a lot of studies have proven that it's good for memory and attention. And definitely one of the first things I felt when I started incorporating it more was that my brain just felt a little more full and a little more. It's the one supplement that, looking back, I definitely would have started a lot earlier in my life. But that being said, it's something that's super safe really for everyone to take and take a closer look at and see what they're getting in their diet. Now, the other thing is that it contains choline, which is a precursor for acetylcholine. So that's what we need for the nerve transmission in the brain. So a good amount of choline in the brain, especially for learning and brain development, memory and fetal development. It's something that's super safe for moms, and development process is all good, right? So at the same time, it contains astaxanthin. Now, astaxanthin too has been really well studied, and the compound itself is quite miraculous. What it does is that in the body, it protects the cells from UV damage, almost like sunscreen. So especially in the summertime, if you're going to be out in the sunshine a lot, having high amounts of astaxanthin from either pigmented fish or from krill oil or from astaxanthin itself, it'll have quite a bit of health benefits by itself. So astaxanthin, as we can see here, it's a unique cell membrane antioxidant. It'll actually protect the phospholipid bilayer of a lot of our cells from breaking down and oxidizing. So very powerful, very useful, and something that is probably not as well known as it should be. Now, when we compare fish oil to krill oil, fish oil, the way it's harvested is that it's attached to a triglyceride. And triglycerides, they need to be broken down to release the DHA and EPA, so we can actually lose quite a bit of it in the digestive process. So what we see here is that because of its structure, krill oil is up to 48 times more absorbable. So that's a good thing, of course. And I remember when I first started taking krill, it was quite a bit more expensive, but now the price difference is not as bad, where the few extra dollars you're paying for krill, probably really worth it. And at the same time, fish oils, they've done studies where a lot of it, because you're losing a lot of its natural preservatives, it can be rancid by the time it gets to the shelves. So that's something to take in consideration as well. I totally believe that food is medicine, and we should definitely be getting as much as we can from our food. But the typical North American diet, and I'm just as guilty as this as anyone, and I try my best to avoid them, but they're quite high in vegetable oils and omega-6s. Now, we need omega-6s, it's necessary in the body, but what we find is that there is actually a balance of omega-3s to omega-6s that we want to maintain. If the omega-6 concentration is too high, it leads to chronic low-grade inflammation, which can be attributed to a lot of things. So the ideal ratio is 1-to-1, but in the typical North American diet, it's probably closer to 1-to-20 or 1-to-30. So if we can get it closer to 1-to-1, and supplementation is a good way to do it, then we're going to address the root cause of a lot of inflammation. We can find omega-3s in food, and we find them in fatty fish such as mackerel, tuna, and salmon. I'm all for wild-caught, organic, and fatty fish. I think a lot of societies that eat a lot of fish, they do tend to have less cardiovascular diseases. And we see this in Japanese and Mediterranean diets. But depending on where you get your fish, whether it's farmed or if it was harvested in an area where there's a lot of pollutants, there's some things that need to be considered if it's going to be your choice for choosing to increase your omega-3 levels in your body. So there's those things to take in consideration as well. But absolutely, I love fish, and it's something that I eat a lot of as well. So again, a lot of studies have been done to show the benefits of having good levels of omega-3s in the body. Now, cardiovascularly and metabolically, there's been plenty of studies where it's been shown to actually improve your body's ability to burn not only triglycerides, but sugars as well. So it's good for diabetes. If there's fatty liver issues where you're not digesting things properly, omega-3s have really been shown to lower those levels as well. And we know high triglyceride levels are more associated with cardiovascular issues. And that can lead to high blood pressure, and high blood pressure has a whole host of effects. So again, studies have been done, increase your omega intake, improve the carrying capacity, and really the strength and contraction of your heart. So again, inflammation, because of the ratios of omegas we want to have in the body, if we can get it closer to a 1-to-1 ratio, we see a decrease in things such as lupus, autoimmune issues, Crohn's and colitis. So we're going to improve our digestion and our ability to absorb nutrients. Things like arthritis will start to disappear, and even nephropathy. So again, systemically, if we can get the omega-3s in the body at an optimal level, we're going to have a whole host of full body benefits. And lastly, which my favorite part about it is the neurological protective factors. Again, because our brain is made up of a lot of DHA, if we can keep optimal levels in there, we're just going to keep it dense. We're going to improve the environment in our brain, and we're going to avoid things such as memory loss. Again, studies have been done from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's to ADHD and autism. So this is one thing that I'll always tell my clients to look into. It's definitely worth looking into, and if we follow what the longest living animals on our planet are doing, and what a lot of the professional athletes and the high achievers and overachievers, they're making sure that they're getting enough omega-3s in their diet. So hope this is helpful, and I really look forward to a lot more of these. And if there's anything you have anything to add or anything to say, please comment below, or otherwise help support the channel and give me a like and subscribe. So take care. I'll see you later.